After 6 long years of studying abroad, you finally set foot back in your hometown of Seoul, South Korea. As the plane touched down, a mix of emotions swirled within you. This was the place you had fled, desperate to escape from the painful memories that haunted you. You took a deep breath, waiting to meet your parents, and also you were waiting to hear the news that have called you to tell. As you made your way through the bustling airport, your eyes scanned the crowd, half hopping, half fearing to catch a glimpse of that all too familiar face. Familiar incidents from the past started hitting you, but you kicked them aside and moved forward to reach out for your car. With a heavy heart, you stepped outside the airport, where a sleek black sedan waited to whisk you away to your house. As the car passed through the familiar streets, you gazed out the window, your mind a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. Part of you excited to see your parents, to feel the comfort of your childhood home, but the other part, the part that had hardened over the years, started thinking about the person who became the reason for it. When the car finally stopped at your house entrance, you took another deep breath. As you stepped out of the vehicle, the front door swung open, and there stood your parents, their faces alight with a mixture of joy and longing. Ryan, my darling, we are so glad you are home. Your mother cried, rushing forward to hold you in a tight embrace. You allowed yourself to melt in your mother's familiar warmth. A small part of your heart softened at the gesture, but as your father approached, his expressions were dull. Welcome back, Ryan. We have so much to discuss, he said, placing a hand on your shoulder. You nodded, preparing yourself for the conversation you knew was coming. Your parents took you inside, leading you to the grand living room where you all took a seat. The air was thick with tension. Ryan, we know this must be a shock to you, but your father and I have made the decision to arrange your marriage to Jungkook. Her voice quoted with concern and hesitation. Jungkook, you were shocked to know it. You felt your heart wait, the mere mention of his name igniting a familiar ache deep within your chest. How could you do this to me? You whispered, your voice trembling with a mix of anger and disbelief. After everything he did, how can you force me to marry him? One, please understand, Jungkook's family and ours have been close for decades. This arrangement would not only strengthen those ties, but it would also ensure your future and security. He was trying to convince you. Security? You scoffed at his words. You mean you're more concerned about preserving your precious family legacy than my own happiness? Your pain can be felt by them, but your mother said, placing her hand gently on your arm, darling, we only want what's best for you. Jungkook has changed, and we truly believe he regrets his actions all those years ago. This marriage could be an opportunity for you both to heal and start a new life. You shook your head stubbornly, your jaw was clenched. I will not marry him. I don't care about your family rules or social status. Jungkook betrayed me, and I can never forgive him for that. Your parents exchanged a weighted glance, and you could see the resolve in their eyes. I'm sorry, Ryan, but this decision has made. You will marry Jungkook whether you like it or not. You felt the air leave your lungs, the weight of their words crushing you. No, this can't be happening. You can't do this to me. You whispered, and your hands were trembling, but your parents remained silent. Their expressions were cold. It's already done, Ryan. The wedding preparations are underway, and you will fulfill your duty to this family. Tears threatened to spill from your eyes, but you refused to let them fall. You had worked so hard to build a life for yourself, to move past the heartbreak, and now, just like that, your parents were snatching it all away, condemning you to a fate you had never asked for. I won't do it, I won't marry him, no matter what you say. You insisted, your voice raising with each word. Your mother's eyes softened with empathy, but your resolve remained same. One, please try to understand. This is for the best for all of us. In time, you may even come to forgive Jungkook and find happiness together. You shook your head, the very thought of it making your stomach churn. I will never forgive him. He destroyed our friendship, and now you want me to spend the rest of my life with him? I won't do it. Your parents exchanged another weighted glance, and you knew in that moment that there was no changing their minds. They had made their decision, and you had no choice but to comply. If this is what I truly want, then I have no other choice. I will do it. But I want you to know that I'm doing this under pressure, and that I will never forgive any of you for this. You said, your voice barely above a whisper. With that, you turned and headed for the stairs, your heart shattering with each step. As you climbed the familiar steps to your old bedroom, you couldn't help but wonder how your life had taken such a devastating turn. The next morning, you awoke with a heavy heart, the events of the previous day weighing heavily on your mind. As the sunlight streamed through the window of your childhood bedroom, you couldn't help but feel a deep sense of unease, knowing that you would have to face Jungkook again. Slowly, you dragged yourself out of bed and began to get ready, carefully applying your makeup and selecting a crisp, professional-looking outfit. You wanted to present a calm, composed appearance even as your inside were in turmoil. When you finally came downstairs, you found your parents and Jungkook's family already gathered in the living room, engaged in polite conversation. The moment Jungkook caught sight of you, his eyes lit up and he rose from his seat, a hesitant smile tugging at his lips. "Wine," he breathed, his voice laced with a mixture of relief and nervousness. "It's so good to see you." You forced yourself to meet his gaze, your expression cold and distant. "Jungkook," he acknowledged, your tone clipped and formal. The rest of the room fell silent, the tension visible as the two former best friends came face to face for the first time in years. You could feel your parents' eyes upon you, silently urging you to make amends and accept the arranged marriage. Jungkook took a step forward, his hands reaching out as if to touch you, but you instinctively took a step back. Your body language clearly conveys your discomfort. "When he began, his voice barely above a whisper. "I know things between us haven't been good, and I can't even begin to express how sorry I am for what happened back then." You felt a familiar ache in your chest, the raw emotions you had worked so hard to bury. "Sorry doesn't change the fact that you abandoned me, Jungkook." You said, your words were coded with a bitterness that surprised even you. Jungkook's face fell, his eyes filled with regret. "I know, and I have regretted that decision every single day since. I was young and stupid, and I hurt you in the worst possible way. But please, Ryan, I'm requesting you to give me a chance to make it up to you." You scoffed, shaking your head in disbelief. "A chance? You had your chance years ago, Jungkook, and you threw it away. Why should I give you another one?" Jungkook opened his mouth to speak, but you raised a hand cutting him off. "Save it. I have no interest in hearing your excuses or your promises. What's done is done, and I have moved on with my life." The room fell silent once more, the air thick with unspoken emotions. You could feel the weight of your parents' and Jungkook's family's gaze upon you, their expressions a mix of disappointment and concern. Finally, your father cleared his throat, drawing everyone's attention. Wine, we understand your hesitation, but this marriage is non negotiable. Jungkook has assured us that he is a changed man and he is ready to commit himself to you fully. You felt your heart sink, the realization that you had no choice in the matter hitting you like a ton of bricks. But dad, I. No buts, wine. Your father interrupted and his tone firm. This is a done deal and you will honor your family's commitment. Jungkook's family has been loyal to us for generations, and this marriage will only strengthen those ties, he said firmly. You glanced around the room, your eyes meeting Jungkook's, and you saw a small hope in his gaze, a silent plea for you to reconsider. But all you could feel was a deep hurt and anger towards him and your parents forcing you into this situation. Sensing your distress, Jungkook took a step forward, his eyes filled with a mixture of hope and nervousness. While I know this isn't what you wanted, but I promise I will do everything to prove to you that I have changed, that I am worthy of your forgiveness and your love. You felt a rise of anger within you, and you automatically took a step back, putting distance between yourself and Jungkook. Love? You scoffed, your voice dripping with sarcasm. You lost the right to my friend a long time ago. Now saying about love? Jungkook, I may be forced to marry you, but don't you dare think that I will forgive you or that I will ever love you. Jungkook's face fell, and you could see the hurt and disappointment in his eyes. But you refused to let yourself be swayed by his pleas. Your heart hardened by the pain he had inflicted upon you all those years ago. This is not a love story, Jungkook, you said, your voice steady and resolute. This is just an arrangement, nothing more. I will fulfill my duty to my family, but don't expect anything else from me. With that, you turned on your heel and headed for the door, leaving Jungkook and the rest of the families in stunned silence. As you walked away, you couldn't help but feel a twinge of guilt at the look of devastation on Jungkook's face, but you quickly pushed it aside, reminding yourself that he had brought the situation. You tried every possible way to stop this marriage, but nothing worked. Even Jungkook tried to stop it after knowing about your hatred towards him, but his efforts also wasted as your parents were stubborn about their decisions. You stood at the altar facing each other. Jungkook was stunned to see you in a wedding gown, but he has no luck to express his feelings. As you stood there, shrinking your face in an irritation, the priest started reading vows and making you both exchange those vows. Even though you don't like him at this point, you are determined to follow the vows as you respect the marriage tradition. Jungkook, you may guess why. Your heart was beating so fast that you didn't expect you would share your first kiss with him with anger, not with love. But for your surprise, Jungkook kissed on your forehead and stepped back. You felt his tear drop over your forehead. You touched it, looked at Jungkook, but he quickly turned away to hide his tears. As you stood in your childhood bedroom staring in the mirror at wedding gown hanging on your body, a deep sense of resignation washed over you. You had fought so hard to build a life for yourself, to escape the pain of your past, and now it was all slipped through your fingers. Jungkook, the very person who had once been your best and closest friend, became your husband now, a reality that filled you with a mix of terror and hatred. With a heavy sigh, you turned away from the dress, your gaze falling upon the carefully packed suitcases that lined the floor. Your parents had insisted that you move in with Jungkook immediately, to facilitate your transition into married life. The thought of sharing a home or life with the man who had betrayed your trust so deeply made your stomach churn. A soft knock on the door startled you, and you turned to find Jungkook standing in the doorway. He was looking nervous. "Ryan, can I come in?" he said, his voice barely above a whisper. You hesitated for a moment, your instinct to refuse him hitting with the realization that you no longer had the luxury of choice. With a simple nod, you gestured for him to enter, preparing yourself for the unexpected conversation. Jungkook stepped into the room, his gaze sweeping over the packed belongings and the wedding dress that served as a constant reminder of your union. "I know this isn't what you wanted," he began, his words coated with remorse, "but I want you to know I'm going to do everything that's possible to make you happy." You scoffed, crossing your arms over your chest as a defensive measure. "Happy?" you echoed, the bitterness in your voice visible. "You honestly think that, after everything you have done, I could ever be happy with you?" He remained silent for a moment, and his heart was getting heavy with your confrontation. "I know I hurt you, Ryan, and I will spend the rest of my life trying to make it up to you. Please, just notice my efforts to know whether I'm changed or not." He sounded genuine, but you refused to admit it. "Don't. This isn't about you or your desires. This is about me and my own happiness that you destroyed. I'm doing this because I have no choice, but that doesn't mean I have to like it," you said, your voice firm. Jungkook's expression fell, and you could see the hurt and disappointment formed across his features. "I know I can't undo the past, but I'm hoping that we can at least try to build a future together, even if it's not the one either of us imagined," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. You turned away, unable to bear the sincerity in his gaze. "I don't want a future with you, Jungkook. I want my old life back, the one where you weren't a part of it." The silence that followed was heavy, thick with unspoken emotions and the weight of the situation. You could feel the tension radiating off Jungkook, his desperation to arrest the gap between you. With a deep sigh, Jungkook nodded, his shoulders falling in defeat. "I understand, Ryan, but I want you to know that I'm not going to give up on you, on us. I'm going to prove to you that I'm changed man and that I'm worthy of your forgiveness and your love, even if it takes me a lifetime to do it." "We'll see that, Jungkook. If you leave, I have few things to take care of," he said coldly while shifting attention to the suitcase. He nodded silently and left the room. As soon as he left, you sat beside the suitcase as you can't act strong anymore. Tears, which try to stop falling down as your heart is remembering your past days. You were talking on the call while tears flowing down your cheeks continuously. "Don't ever try to call me Wine. We have nothing to meet. This is my last call to you. Goodbye." That is enough to break your heart, the love, care, and affection everything you have towards him.